What's going on, guys? Today we've got the Triumph. Going to be removing the standard tail and getting rid of these indicators because they're big and bulky. So what we have is the Triumph factory LED indicators. We're going to put them on the rear. Haven't got them for the front yet, but they'll look pretty good there. So much smaller, much nicer. But unfortunately, to do that, we have to put a relay in, and this part is not going to be easy. So we'll get into that. First things first, we'll remove the pillion seat cover. Nice and easy. Remove the toolkit, and we've also got to remove the seat. So we'll remove the seats, just one screw, and then that will slide out. Also pretty easy. Now the trouble with this is the relay is actually in there. So we have to remove the side fairings and the top case there. So I'm going to start on that. Now I will say that I've never done this before, so hopefully it's not too bad. I'm going to pop these on the ground on a cloth so they don't get scratched up. Now this whole top cover needs to come off, so I'm going to unplug my USB, and it looks like one there, those two, and that should be it. Now I will say, if you're planning on doing any, oh, there's two more, one there and one there as well. If you're planning on doing any major work like this, I would suggest having a decent tool set, which I just do not have at the moment. We might want to take this off. Yep. Just like that, and just fold that out of the way. Okay, so there's our flasher relay there. It's probably best if we disconnect the battery now. So I'm just going to disconnect the battery. And just unhook that, and it comes out. Nice and easy. Don't put it on the concrete. Let's open up this relay box and see what we've got. Okay, now so we have the relay, some wire, a connector, and a mounting bracket, and probably some instructions which might be helpful. And they were nice enough to supply some cable ties. Let's just take out the instructions and see what we're working with. Hopefully it's instructions, not just warnings, which that's all that is. And just more warnings. So, yep, no instructions. Luckily I do have instructions on my phone, so let's work with that. So disconnect the battery, done. So it definitely is this one. So that slides forward. And let's disconnect that. Apparently the one I need to take off. And then we get the relay, pop it in this rubber grommet. Mounting bracket thing, so just jam it in there. Now the reason I'm doing this is because if you don't put the relay in, the LEDs will blink very, very fast. So that's the reason why I'm doing this. Now it wants collect the sub harness from the kit and connect it to the indicator relay as shown. So brown and green, which it is. And 2 is brown, so that one goes on there, and then green goes on there, and that's the ground cable. For whatever reason they decided not to put a connector on the end of this one, but they did supply one, so that's what that is. Just going to pop that in there. Okay, get crimpers. These things are fantastic. So what we want to do is, I'm actually going to strip a little bit more off that, just to be safe. And we're going to slide this in there, like that, just so it has a decent connection. I don't want it to fail. And then we're going to crimp that on like that. That's on. And then that goes to there. So black to ground, brown to signal, and green to 12 volt. Alright, so that has to go to the battery's negative terminal. Following the main harness, back to the relay, ensure there's enough cable to crimp the supply terminal and refit the relay to its mount. Whoops. Right, so what we were supposed to do, I got ahead of myself a little bit there. What we were supposed to do, run this wire up through there to there, and then cut off any excess, but I've already put the connector on. So let's see if I've got another connector. All right, so I do have another connector. So what I'm gonna do is do that properly. So what they want is that to go on there, and then feed this up through to there. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna cut that off so it's easier. So this is why I do these things, so you guys learn from my mistakes. Make sure you feed this through before you hook it up. I'm gonna feed this through this little spot here, if you can see it. Hopefully I can get it to go through. It keeps getting jammed on something. This looks like it pops out. There we go, got it in. I'll feed that all the way through to there. Now make sure it's got enough length on it so it goes on the battery. Should be fine. Okay, so this isn't actually that difficult. I thought it was gonna be a lot worse. So then this little bit here slides on this little bracket thing, just like that. And then this would just connect back up to the original spot, like that. And just tuck all that somewhere. Hopefully that doesn't impair that. Yeah, nah, plenty of room. It does touch, but it's all rubber and it's fine. We want to run that down there to there. So I'm gonna cut it off at about there and then hook up that connector. So that's all the excess. Very unnecessary to have that much, but you know, better to have more than less. Strip the wire, twist it so it's firm, put the connector on like that, and you're gonna crimp it. And hopefully it has a strong enough connection, just like that. And that's on. Slide that onto the ground position, and that's it. Now just tuck the wires. Alright, so all in all that wasn't that difficult. I thought it was going to be a lot harder. It's pretty easy. If you want, you can use some of those cable ties to tie up that ground lead. I don't think I'm going to worry about it. Alright, now that that's on, can chuck all this back together. Now I will say, if you're not comfortable with electronic work, get somebody who's trained to do this, because if you do it wrong you can stuff up your whole electrical system, and nobody wants that. So I've had a bit of experience with electronics, so this stuff's pretty normal for me. And that's all back together. I am going to connect the battery up just to make sure that that all worked properly. Now that wire just gets connected to the battery terminal like that. Okay, I'm going to have to disconnect this again, but I want to make sure everything's working. Indicators work, front one works. Looks like they're slightly slower than normal, but that's okay. At least they work, so I didn't stuff anything up. I don't really think I have time to do much of this. I might just take the other tail off. Okay, so we're going to pull the battery again, just one terminal, and we're going to start removing the tail. This is pretty simple. What we want to do is undo this wire, which is just a little button there and just comes off, and then undo these 4 screws. just come out like that. And then it's easy as that. So we're not going to reuse these, not for the other. I've got an Evo tail tidy, which you guys have probably seen in previous videos. It comes with absolutely everything you need, and it's all direct plug and play. There's absolutely no splicing of wires, and it just looks amazing. It's best I've seen by far. So you also want to take out these spacers from inside these holes, because the Evotech one comes with its own, and they're a little bit smaller, so you can't reuse these. Okay, now we just want to take off this section here. I think there was a couple little screws in there, but I don't know where they've gone. I think it's like a 3mm. Yeah, so just going to unscrew that. I was going to say I don't need any of this stuff, but I need the wiring harness. So we're just going to take that out, screw, pop that out, and then undo the blinkers. So that should be the 5mm again. Now I'm undoing these because these is what holds this together, so we're not going to be reusing these. We're going to be putting those nice ones on. So you will need to keep this rubber. Apart from that, all we actually need, so all I did there was just pull up and it comes off. Quite simple. The only thing we need is this wiring harness. So we're gonna unplug the number plate light, like that, and unplug all the blinkers, and that's all we need. Rest of it, chuck aside, put it in the bin, whatever you feel like doing. All right, so that's all we need for that. Okay, so this is essentially the Evotech tail tidy. I've left a few parts together, like the number plate bracket sits like that. The LED light, it's quite a nice one. That comes off just with that screw there. I left it on just so I don't have to put it back together. Then we've got the mounting plate. Now this is all alloy. It's a little bit heavier than the original one, but it just looks amazing once it's all together. Like I said, it comes with all the hardware needed to do this, so you literally don't really need to keep anything from the original one. It's even got this direct plug for the number plate light. You just clip that in and it's done. Like, that was amazing to me that they did that. It also comes with a reflector kit, so if you need reflectors for legal reasons in your area, then they come with them. So it comes with everything apart from the main harness, which, as far as my knowledge, no tail tidy kit comes with a main harness. Let's jump into it. Okay, so that's the main harness, that's that rubber. These are the Triumph factory indicators that we're going to be putting on. They are gorgeous. Just such a nice kit. Let's see what it looks like on the Evotech. If I can get it in. There we go. So the indicators just slide in there, and then it'll mount up like that. And that looks pretty damn good. Much better than the other ones anyway. Alright, so I'm gonna put those in. So they come with these black screws, so we're not having chrome on the back, which is nice. So they're a 4mm. Just going to be careful not to scratch up the new indicators. Alright, so that's one. That's two. Now, as you can see, they're a lot smaller than the original ones, which is much better. I can't wait to get them for the front. Okay, now that that's in, what we need to do is, when we put these together, that's gonna, where does that sit? That sits about there. So that needs to go in there, like that. So that's the only wire that pokes out the top, just that bit there. And then we have these dowels that go in there. This was the hardest part that I found, trying to get these together without the wires coming out. But I did it. So then that goes on there like that, and that's our tail tidy. So I'm gonna put that bit on first. Just line up that dowel. Then we get the countersunk screw and get that in there. Just a little bit, because I don't think it's lined up just yet. So when that's on, I'll probably line that up properly. Just gonna do that just to keep it together. And then Then this piece slides over like that with all the wires in there. I want to put them in first, and that goes there like that. Then we get these two here, we get these in like that, and that'll hold the whole thing together. Do those up tight. Now that that's all together, going to get this rubber and feed all these lines through the big hole there. And now just sit that in the hole there properly, get all that lined up. Alright, then literally all you need to do is just feed the wires up through. So up through this hole. Like that. Yeah, all of them. I'm not going to wire this up until I've got it all on, just because it's going to be easier, so I don't have to try and hold it. So that all just goes in like that, and that sits in there like that. Pretty easy. Just going to sit that on the tire for the minute. Alright, so these are the spacers that Evotech comes with. As you can see, they're a little bit different, so that's why we use the one supplied by Evotech. I'm going to pop all these in, and then we can bring this back up, pull the wires through, make sure that rubber's all lined up, don't want that poking out, and make sure it lines up in there as well, and that'll sit in there like that. And then we get our Allen key and screw just one of them in, at least just hand tight, so it's not going to make them all fall off like that. Alright, so now that's all done up, it's all nice and tight. That looks really nice. Still have to do that up. So what we're going to do is just eyeball it, do that up tight. The only thing that was a little bit annoying about this kit was it didn't fit my plate. I'd have to drill holes like there and there to get that to fit properly. But all I did was use the brackets they came with, put them down, put the bolts on the bottom, and it fit quite nicely up in there like that. I mean, you could probably lift it up more if you wanted to, I don't know. So I'm going to put the plate on, so line it up to where you want it. I know that looks a bit wonky to me. Okay, so now the tail's all on, looks really nice, looks really good with the new indicators, much cleaner. Okay, now we can wire it up and see if we did it correctly. So number plate light, as I said, the Evotech kit comes with the direct plug. Just go straight in. Now the fun bit is, if you've seen any of my videos before, you know that I have a tendency to get these on the wrong side. So I'm just going to guess, and black with black, blue with red, then black with black, green with red. And as always, plug it in first, connect the battery before you finish, because it's probably going to be wrong. Okay, moment of truth. Look at that. And I got it right. And it's no hyperflash. It's flashing at a normal speed. Front one's still working, even though it's ugly. But yeah, that's real nice. As you can see, you've got the LED and number plate light from the Evotech kit. LED indicators, LED tail light, it all matches nicely. Try out this side. That's good. Hazards. That's really nice. I like it. I didn't do it wrong, so I don't have to disconnect the battery again, so that's good. Now all I need to do is just tie up all the wires. There's a bit of excess wire now, so I'll end up just cable tying those and jamming them somewhere, probably just in the side there like I did last time. I did go and buy some cable ties, but I didn't need to. Triumph was kind enough to supply them. So cable tie that. Trim off the excess and tuck them away somewhere. Alright, so I'm just going to cable tie this to these other wires here. Hopefully that'll keep it out of the way. Now I normally weigh everything that goes onto on or comes off the Triumph, purely out of curiosity, just seeing how much more weight or less weight I'm taking off. I forgot to do the indicators, but I'll do them on the next ones. Okay, so now that's all together. Hook the battery back up, install the seat again. So that's got a couple of hooks there, so you have to, and then we have to put that in correctly and then slide it down. It's just that one screw holding it in. Toolkit back in, just sits in there. I'll put in the rest of the stuff that I keep in there. It's usually keep a cloth in there.